G'day everyone, I'm Smokescreen and welcome back to another video, and here we go with the next Nations Cup combination in the exhibition series that is currently going on, and we meet on the grid here. So as you can see, some of the cars there, a lot of Group C cars, and then there's one LMP1 car that is being selected by Diego, so this tells you this is a Group 1 race. The track we're at, as you can see now, is Blue Moon Bay, Infield B. I don't believe this track has ever been used in a official Polyphony digital set combination before, but here we go in the current FIA Nations Cup exhibition series. So let's have a go around here in Group 1 cars. We're going to go out for our qualifying lap. You can see we catch a little bit of slipstream off the back of Ikutosh 23, and he's going to play quite a large role in today's video, so keep an eye out for Ikutosh as we fly into turn 1, down the bump, lovely touch of the apex, up the bump, lovely rendition of turn 1 there. We hit the wall on the exit of turn 1 stupidly. I wasn't going to hit it, but I steered into it, and Ikutosh went into the back of me, so that's going to lose us both time for our slipstream lap, for our qualifying lap, sorry. And coming through the second to last corner, nice and close to the barrier, we get a little bit of a slipstream off Thirsty Ho. Never thought I'd be saying that in one of my videos, but here we are. I don't think we quite have the slipstream off the car up ahead, unfortunately, but we come across the line with a 39.8, and the lap is so short, the tyre wear isn't that harsh after one lap, so we are able to go again. I'm going to come through turn 1 a little bit cleaner that time. I felt as though that was an overall faster run through turn 1, and we're coming up to the sector split halfway through the lap. We are 0.08 of a second up on our time, or up on the purple lap of a 39.7 currently, so this is on target to be an improvement there. However, we just mess up the second last corner slightly, not getting the gear changes quite right, and we are 1/10 off the pace. Luckily, with such a short lap, however, and with 5 minutes of qualifying, we do have enough time for a couple of qualifying runs. We're going to go out again, and we get in behind Enforcer, but I think we just stay out of the way, and we kind of get caught out and a bit hung out to dry here, as there's just an endless stream of cars coming, and by the time they all pass, I'm not able to get slipstream off anyone, and I'm just too slow out of this corner here, which is the acceleration point for the main straight. So I've ruined what was going to be that lap. So I go out again. I'm down in 8th position at this point here, so ideally I'd like to improve my qualifying lap as we exit the pits. We're going to have a go. No slipstream, but let's see what we can do. Coming into turn 1, turning in on the 100 and braking just on the arrow boards after the 100. Coming in 3rd gear, touching that apex onto the power onto the exit. Don't touch any barriers, obviously. Turning into turn 2 on the 100 meter board. Nice apex there, and it's all flat out up until turn 4, turning in just sort of in between the two arrows on the left hand side, and then coming in, braking just before the 100 meter board. 2nd gear for rotation. I'll keep it in 2nd this time. Ideally you want to get to 2nd to rotate the car, and then short shift up to 3rd to get the smooth exit, but we didn't do that time, so there's probably quite a bit of room for improvement there. But as we come up across the line, it's a 39.7, an improvement of about 1/10. And you can see how close this grid is. 1/10 improvement puts us up 3 positions. So you can see we're slap bang in the middle of a load of Nissan R92 CPs. So we're starting in 5th officially, but as always with the Nations Cup combinations, sit back, relax, and enjoy the introduction. Lovely, as always, we meet the cars on the grid, so as you can see, top of the grid, Nissan R92 CPs. I've gone for the Mercedes Sauber C9 or whatever it is. Sauber Mercedes C9, something like that. So it was really a choice of two cars. It was the Nissan or the Mercedes for race pace. But let's just detail the start of the race. Rossman up ahead gets a very poor start. He must have short shifted or something, or started in the wrong gear. But we make up that position immediately off the lead, or off the start here. Now, we started in 5th, and I took a bit of a gamble with the strategy, and we'll see how that plays out for me, but I've gone onto the medium tyres. There's a choice of medium tyres and soft tyres for this race. Both are mandated, therefore there must be a pit stop done. You're not making it to the end without a pit stop just because of how high the tyre wear is anyway, so you are always going to pit, but it is enforced here. So medium tyres. We'll see how we go. The two cars up ahead are soft tyres, I would assume, having started 2nd and 3rd. Pole position would definitely have started on soft tyres, there's no doubt about that. So he's going to streak off into the distance a little bit. We'll see how we go here. Ikitosh runs into the back of Ferrari Flyer, coming into turn 1. Let's see if we can get a nice turn now that the tyres are up to temperature a little bit more. A lot better than the first exhibition there of turn 1. Coming through the Infield section, which is more of a bridge that's just been built over the Blue Moon Bay, I assume it'd be called. Coming through the second to last corner, coming out in 2nd gear. So the medium tyres don't have quite as much grip as the soft tyres, obviously. So we are going to be suffering from more understeer coming through the high-speed corners, especially that turn 4. You're coming out of a braking period, which can really exacerbate the understeer if you're sort of transitioning into a turn while still on the brakes. The tyres just begin to slip a bit too much, and it's very difficult to recover that. But as we're coming up into the infield section, lap 3 out of 29 here, you can see Ikitosh goes ahead of Ferrari Flyer here, and they're kind of slipstreaming one another, and I'm just hanging in the slipstream of Ferrari Flyer, catch up a lot of ground into turn 4, slightly wide off the apex. You want to get as close to the barrier on the inside as possible, and coming out of that corner, coming through turn 5, the pair up ahead have broken slipstream. Not good. So let's see what we can do. Can we hold up the guy in 5th, Norris 4 F1 fan? Can we hold him up on the medium tyres? Because having sort of started in the first half of the grid, it's definitely sort of neither here nor there in terms of what tyre you start on. So there could be soft tyre runners mixed in with the medium tyre runners. I'm a medium tyre runner, obviously. So it could very well get to the point where Norris begins to catch up. But there's been a bit of an incident on the exit of turn 4 where I think Ferrari Flyer went up the inside of Ikitosh and forced him into the barrier, and that's just put me in slipstream again. And there is crucially a penalty for Ferrari Flyer here. That's really pivotal in this race. So Ikitosh was pulling away from me, even though I had the slipstream. He was pulling away, or the pair up ahead were pulling away, because they were getting the slipstream off each other. And just because I have that slight grip disadvantage because of my softer tyres, the fact that a car up ahead just has slipstream is just enough for them to go slightly faster around the course than me. So I fall out of their slipstream. But now that Ikitosh has clean air, so Ferrari Flyer serves the 3-second penalty, and that's quite crucial. That's quite critical in this race. Such a high average speed that penalties are really detrimental. You're slowing down for so long, the cars are coming at you, your opponents are coming at you so fast that you just drop off very, very quickly. So now that he's done that, he's just released Ikitosh into clear air, so he now doesn't have slipstream, but I do. And that, crucially, I suspect and I hope is just enough to negate the difference between the medium and the soft tyres. And this is where my strategy has really, come to fruition. The race is just falling my way thus far. So we're only 6 laps in of 29, but I've crucially got the slipstream of somebody on a faster tyre. If I can stick into the slipstream of Ikitosh my whole medium tyre stint, I can almost completely negate the pace disadvantage I have by going on my softer tyre, by going on my harder tyre, sorry. So therefore, when I finally do pit and go into my softer tyre, coming off the back of my medium stint, I've found myself in no real disadvantageous situation. I haven't really lost too much time from my medium stint as long as I can stay in the slipstream for the whole time. Therefore, I've only got time to gain when everyone else around me goes onto their medium tyre for their second stint. I'm going to be on my soft tyre. And if I have the slipstream on my soft tyre and the person I'm slipstreaming is on the medium, I'm going to have quite a significant pace advantage, and that could really pull me in towards the lead. So all through this stint, I've got in my mind, right, I've got the slipstream on the harder tyre, I'm going as fast as Ikutoshi is on his soft tyres, and he qualified ahead of me. Therefore, I'm probably running at about the same pace as the leader. Thankfully, we have the red delta number on the right-hand side of my name, on the totem on the left-hand side of your screen, that tells you the exact gap between me and the leader. It's 4.3 seconds currently. I suspect the pace difference between the soft and the medium tyres is probably about 3 to 4 tenths a lap. So let's just monitor that gap to the leader throughout this first stint and just see how much time per lap I actually do lose. Am I actually gaining on the leader? But we'll see how that goes. The leader's obviously very quick, having driven off into the distance by 4.5 seconds in 9 laps. Considering it's only a 40-second lap here, but we'll see how we go. Coming through the middle infield section, we're still 4.4 seconds behind the leader, and we're putting in the fastest times, or my personal best times of the session there, getting turn 4. I was going to say a lot nicer that time, but we just touched the wall on the exit. So as we round out through this final corner, turn 5, have a look at the gap to the leader, 4.6. We've lost maybe a tenth in that lap. That's nowhere near the pace difference that a soft tyre runner and a medium tyre runner would have without slipstream for either. So once the leader goes onto his medium tyres, I suspect he's probably going to lose 3 tenths a lap to me. As long as I can lose less than that per lap through the first half of the race, I'm probably going to gain that back and then some on my soft tyre stint. So this is really projecting me towards the lead. You can see 4.4 seconds coming into turn 4. We pull it up nicely. We have to choose second gear on the exit there. There's just too much understeer, too much dirty air and aero push from this car coming through turn 4 that we just have to select second gear. So as we're heading down the main straight, there is another difference between myself and Ikutoshi, myself and the leader. We're in different cars, so there was a choice of a few cars actually for this race. So the Group C cars were the ultimate pace. But then there was a balance between pace and fuel use. So this Mercedes can just about get to the end of the race without refueling. Nissan R92 CP can definitely get to the end of the race without refueling. Rev the nuts out of that car. It's got plenty of fuel to use. The Mercedes obviously uses a little bit more fuel. So we just have to... We can rev the car to the end of the rev bar, but just shift at the end. Don't rev the absolute nuts out of it, and you'll be fine for fuel. Mazda 787B was the other choice you could have chosen, however that car needed to refuel. It didn't have the fuel saving ability to get to the end of this race without refueling. And if all your opponents don't have to refuel and you do, you've immediately lost a load of time straight off the bat. So that's no good. The LMP1 cars, they're not as good as in a straight line, but they can fly through turn 1 and turn 4. So a couple of choices were the Tomahawk, the Dodge SRT Tomahawk Group 1 car, and the Peugeot 908, which there is a person in this race driving. However, in terms of the race, you probably want the straight line speed to get overtakes done, rather than sort of go past in the corners and just get re-overtaken. So I've gone for the Group C car, and I did all my practice in the Sauber here. I felt as though this car was more suited to my driving style, so that's the one I went for. The Nissan R92 CP is better in a straight line than the Mercedes. However, it's more understeery and can push wide on the exit of turn 4 especially, and I felt as though I could be more consistent in the Mercedes here. But we're coming up towards the halfway point in the race. Lap 14, or 14 and a half, is technically the halfway point precisely in this race, given that half of 29 is 14.5. But we're coming up to the pit stop phases at the moment. So the soft tyre can do about 13 to 16 laps. 16 is a bit of a stretch. I choose to do 14, I believe. But we'll see how we go. To this point here, I've decided I'm going to do whatever Ikutoshi doesn't do, just an attempt to split us, because I don't want to come out behind him on my soft tyres, because he'll hold me up a little bit, because I know he's on soft tyres at the moment. So he'll come out on medium, and if he's ahead of me, I'm going to struggle to get past. I'm going to have to get past him, and that will slow me up. So whatever he doesn't do, I'm going to do. And he goes into the pits, and there was a little moment of indecision there. Do I follow him in any way? Because that was coming up to the end of my medium tyres, but I decided no, I'm going to split the strategy here. Let's see what we can do. So I've just been released from behind Ikatosh here, who has gone in on soft. He's down in 8th position at the moment, and I assume he's going to change over to his medium tyres. But as we come through the infield section, my mind is cast up to the leader. He's 5 seconds ahead, so by the time we got into the slipstream of Ikatosh, it was about 4 seconds. So over the course of my whole medium tyre stint, I've lost only about a second to the leader. So we're going to come into the pits, we're going to follow the leader in, going over to soft tyres, no refueling required. We've got just about 14 laps of the race remaining, with just over 15 laps worth of fuel remaining, and a bit of a wait there. So obviously the pit times have been drastically extended. So traditionally what we'd see with the old pit stop time was probably 1 lap of medium and then 2 soft stints, but that's no longer viable because the pit stops are too long. We've come out behind Ikatosh again, so I attempted to split the strategy. Didn't quite work in this case, but it's not to worry. I'm going to have slipstream. I will lose a little bit of time given the fact that I have to overtake him, but let's just see how that works out for us. And we've come out in 7th, so we're quite a fair way off the leader at this point, who's Rosmo. So he's obviously extended his stint a little bit. He is not actually in the outright lead. As you can see, a couple more people hit there, and Enforcer pulls off to the pit lane. Lovely. A couple of people in the pits, and we're back up in 5th. We've got 2 cars up ahead. One of them is a LMP1 car, the Peugeot 908, and hopefully we can get past him, especially coming into this high-speed zone. Given the fact that the cars are going to be quite up to the pace, we send it up the inside of turn 2. Very dangerous move. We leave just about enough room on the exit if he was side by side, and we are once again in the slipstream of Ikatosh, and you can see how quickly that LMP1 car is falling off the back of me, having that massive speed advantage. You can see 3rd gear through the exit of turn 4 now. We're really fast at this point. Rosmo goes into the pits. He's done 17 laps on medium tyres. That's quite a lot. Soft tyre is good for at least 14. But let's see, Ikatosh, we duck into the slipstream, duck out of the slipstream, and we send it into turn 1. We find ourselves up in 2nd position at this point, but as we cast our eyes up to the leader, he's gone. The leader has just disconnected from the race. There was no crashes up on the mini-map above. He just straight up disappeared from the map. I'm now in the lead of the race. On my soft tyre stint, I've got no pace disadvantage. I'm the fastest this car's ever going to be with Ikatosh on medium tyres. He does have the slipstream, but if I can just focus on the corners, turn 1 and turn 4 mainly, I'm going to try and break the slipstream down the straight as well by just weaving slightly. I could potentially break the slipstream and win the race. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We find ourselves up in the lead. 10 laps to go. Can we hold off Ikatosh in the slipstream from coming into the picture? Coming into turn 4, lovely bit of braking, 2nd gear for rotation, short shift up to 3rd on the apex, and you see we avoid that clunky gear change. It's very difficult to get that right on the medium tyre. So I would suspect that Ikatosh is probably exiting that in 2nd gear, given the fact that that gap has opened up to nearly 5 tenths. The Mercedes also has an advantage in terms of acceleration. While it can't reach the top speed that the Nissan can, you can see coming into turn 1 that gap is closed under. It was under 3 tenths momentarily, but the Mercedes does have advantageous acceleration. It's absolutely brutal acceleration in this car, and we're going to see that on the exit of turn 4. It's just in 3rd gear, it just rockets out. It's got a massive turbo or massive supercharge, whichever one it is. It's got a pressure gauge suggesting it has either one of the two, but on the exit of turn 4, look at the gap. It's over the slipstream range, over 8 tenths. And that was the race. I pulled away, look at this. Pulled away, flashing lights across the line. Consistent 40-second laps. And I've beat everybody in the field by 3.1 seconds. How about that? What a race. This was the first race of the night too. I was fully prepared to do all 3 slots here if required. But this was the first race at 6 o'clock at night, and I finished up at about 6:45, and I was like, what, right, well, look at that, easy peasy. 242 points, personal best for the current season, so we had a very good round in the GR Yaris at Fuji, round 1. And we've managed to follow that up with another amazing score of 242. So we missed round 2 and round 3, I believe. So coming in with round 4 with another strong result is obviously very good. So I'm a little bit disappointed the leader disconnected. I feel as though that would have been a very, very good race at the end of the race there, because I had, what did I have, about over 10 laps to go with a 4-second gap to the leader, and he disconnected. I definitely think we could have caught up to him, and that would have been a very, very good battle, and that would have kind of sealed the fate of this race, making it one of my favourite videos ever. But unfortunately it didn't happen. He disconnected and sort of gifted me the win, so well, obviously I'm happy with the win. Having been given it in that manner from a disconnect of the game, a failure on the game's behalf, it doesn't feel quite as rewarding as an outright pace win does. But it is what it is, I suppose. I have won, doesn't affect the points. I've brought home top amount of points available in that lobby, and I'm obviously very happy with that result. Do hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and do subscribe if you'd like to see more videos from me. Do leave a comment as well. Questions, comments, constructive criticism, as always, very much appreciated. But that's the end of this one today, and that means that is it from me. So once again, I do thank you very much for watching. See you later.